Hey guys, so I suppose I've spent a lot of time talking about all the sort of basics of veganism, like the simplicity, the sort of like, let's make it attainable, let's show people that they can change without having to sort of worry and panic too much. But there does have to come a point where we go beyond the sort of simple not eating animals version of veganism to sort of realise that life is about this continual progress, and this path and this journey that we have to go on in order to sort of like be a decent human being on the planet. So it's sort of realising that our choices have big consequences, so we have to be as mindful as possible to sort of to reduce the impact that we have on others. And veganism is this beautiful process of trying to uncover the truth and then always striving to do the right thing based on the knowledge we have at every given moment. So that definitely sort of spreads out to not just how we treat the animals, but obviously how we treat each other. So it's like just like living by the principles of respect and justice, and not exploiting others just because we can, because it benefits us. Just realizing that everyone's having a unique experience on the planet, and just being kind and not being careless so that other people suffer because of our selfishness. And that obviously sort of translates to the impact we have on the environment as well. So obviously our choices have a big impact on the planet, and obviously the sort of the sustainability of the world. So it's like our daily sort of buying choices as a vegan still need to be thought out, so that we don't end up carelessly creating a lot of waste and a lot of destruction on the planet. So yeah, promoting the sort of like ethical clothing companies, because clothes are definitely a thing that we all need to wear. So it's important to find some companies that are more mindful about sort of protecting the planet and obviously the animals and stuff. So it's not just about, you know, eliminating leather and fur and wool and stuff. It's like sort of realizing that certain inks and certain sort of materials and obviously certain like sort of human rights issues come up, so we need to find companies that you know, cause the least amount of harm possible. And obviously that's why we promote Heartcure clothing, because they do a lot of well, all their stuff is vegan, it's sustainable, it's like fair trade materials, water-based inks which are more environmentally sort of sustainable, and they're promoting the activism message. Obviously the activism being important because it's not just enough to sort of be vegan and be mindful yourself, you need to sort of share that with the world in a way that will just encourage people and inspire people to try and sort of create this better world that we all want to see. So yeah, Heartcure is great because they do a lot of that. They have a big variety of all the different things you can get. So if you don't know about them, check out their website, because they always deserve sort of more people to know about that sort of thing. I'm a big fan of sort of promoting the companies that make it easy for people to do the right thing, because we live in a world where there's so much stuff and it's all this adverts and all these things that tempt us into thinking we need things that we don't. And in reality there's very small amounts of things that we actually need, and the things that we do need we should get, you know, the best versions of. So it's like sort of minimalizing our life but choosing good quality, ethical, sort of mindful things. And another brand which I've sort of heard about recently, this brand called Corkor. They do I've got a couple of things. They do sort of cork made sort of like wallets and bags and different sort of like things like that, sort of like kind of high-end sustainable stuff, and they look really nice. And it's just one of those sort of companies that it's just a bit more conscious, really. It's if you're going to get a bag or a wallet, you might as well go for one that's actually like, you know, obviously vegan friendly, so like non-leather and things, but just like you know, just a bit more sort of like planet conscious. So yeah, check out them as well. I'll leave like a website link. And just like beyond that, charity shops and things, just like trying to be sort of mindful of, if we need things, go out and find sort of reused versions, because everyone's in this world where we're constantly buying things and we're consuming over and over again, and then just like replacing the things as soon as we wear them out or get bored of them. But because we live in that world, we have to sort of be mindful that people are wasting a lot, so let's try and like eliminate the waste by using the things that people don't have a use for anymore. So yeah, these trousers I'm wearing actually from a charity shop. I think they were like £3. So it's obviously like some of these products, like, you know, these sort of like cork things can be more expensive, but you don't need those necessarily if you go to the charity shops and you sort of look for something that's good, and if you're patient enough with it, you don't see it as this sort of hurry to get something consumerist sort of mindset. You see it more as this like patiently waiting for something that'll be right for you, that, you know, someone else won't want, and it'll just be sort of just a better experience. And also sort of like trying to reduce and eliminate the plastic that we use. Obviously when you buy sort of recycled things, that's good because there's less of the sort of packaging because it's already been used. There's just sort of the food choices we have in terms of trying to have like loose stuff that isn't packaged up, and same with these sort of like ethical companies. You know, they reduce the plastic because we don't want things that are made out of plastic, covered in plastic, and end up getting thrown into the plastic in the bin, and then they end up in the ocean destroying the sea life and all that. So yeah, be mindful about that. Just realizing that there's a lot more to think about than most of us are comfortable with, but just because it's this big overwhelming world of things that that we can easily cause harm to, doesn't mean that we should just give up. We should just be in a constant state of progress and try and find a better option every time. So it's just looking out for the more ethical companies and the more ethical options, and obviously just trying to change our sort of mindset towards sort of how we live our lives. We've all got so greedy, overly consuming so many things and thinking that we need stuff in order to sort of fulfill our lives and make us happy, but none of that really brings us fulfillment, and it's more in the sort of the kindness that we can share with the world and the relationships that we can form, being mindful of our actions that can make life really beautiful. So yeah, that's sort of what I got to say. That's been a big ramble, but yeah, check out some of the ethical companies I've talked about. I might include some more. Be more mindful, start on the path. Don't feel like you have to be perfect overnight, but just start progressing, going beyond this sort of simplistic version of veganism that's got you on board with this idea that like you don't have to harm others to be happy, but going beyond that, realizing that, you know, that there's a lot of things that we do that cause harm. So let's try and be a better version of ourselves so that we can create a better world in the future. Yeah, got lots of sort of film projects in the works. They'll kind of appear sometime in the future, but just patience really is sort of these. I like to put a lot of creative energy into these things, so they'll come when they do. Other than that, still selling the vegan activism stickers, so if you want to go on the Etsy store that I have, buy those. That helps me out a lot, so you can do that. Quite active on Instagram at the moment, so if you want to sort of keep up to date with what I'm doing there, that's always a thing. So yeah, that's been another video. See you later.